Hey, thanks so much for being here and watching this video. If you enjoy this kind of content, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. I'm working toward hitting 1,000 subscribers, and your support truly makes a difference. Don't forget to leave a like so more people can discover this story. Every video I make takes time, effort, and a lot of care just for you. Feel free to share it with your friends and make sure to stick around until the end. I hope you enjoy it. My mom told my son at a picnic. He wasn't coming on the family trip, so I quietly left with him without a scene. 2 days later, their resort card was declined. And that's when it didn't feel like a comment. It felt like something final had already been decided without me. At the picnic, my son said, "I packed my bag for the trip." He said it like it mattered, like it was real, like he belonged in that plan. My mom smiled, tight, controlled, the kind of smile that never quite reaches her eyes. "Oh, you're not coming." No hesitation, no softness, just a quiet correction, like she was fixing a mistake. I didn't react right away. I supported him, just put my hand on his shoulder, steady, and we left. No scene, no argument, not there. 2 days later, the resort emailed them. Card on file declined. That's when my phone started ringing. Over and over. And I just stared at the screen for a second before I replied, "My parents told my 7-year-old son he wasn't allowed to come on the family vacation. A vacation I was paying for. With my money." I paused, because that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part is they told him right in front of me, at a picnic. While he was holding a bag he packed himself because he was excited. I could still see it. That little bag. "You want to know what was inside?" I typed. A pair of swim trunks, his favorite dinosaur toy, and a Ziploc bag full of goldfish crackers. 2 weeks. He'd been planning that trip for 2 weeks, and my mother looked down at him with that same thin smile and said, "Oh, sweetie, you're not coming." Like she was talking about the weather. Like it didn't matter. Like he didn't matter. My name is Priscilla. I'm 34 years old. And this is the story of how I stopped being my parents' personal ATM. But to understand that moment, the one at the picnic, you need to understand what came before it. Because nothing about that day was sudden. It just finally became visible. My parents, Gloria and Richard, have always been a lot. Not loud, not chaotic, just heavy. The kind of people where nothing you do quite lands. Where even praise feels like it comes with fine print. Growing up, I'd bring home a 97 on a test. And instead of "good job," I'd get, "What happened to the other 3 points?" That kind of house. Some of you already know exactly what I mean. My older brother Keith didn't wait around to figure it out. He left for Portland the second he turned 18. No hesitation. Honestly, smart move. I stayed. I told myself it was loyalty, family, responsibility. But if I'm being honest, it was something else. I thought if I just tried a little harder, gave a little more, became exactly what they wanted, eventually they'd soften. Eventually, I'd get that version of them that didn't feel conditional. Spoiler, that version never showed up. By 26, I had built a solid career in medical billing consulting. It's not glamorous, but it pays well. Really well. By 28, I owned my own house. And around that time, I started helping my parents financially. My dad had retired early, back injury. My mom worked part-time at a craft store, but it barely covered anything. So I stepped in, and I didn't hesitate. Because that's what you do for family. Right? Mortgage, car insurance, groceries every other week, their phone plan. I covered it. I didn't keep track. At least not at first. I just thought, I have it. They need it. Done. No big deal. Then Oliver was born. His dad, let's just call him a lesson I learned the hard way, was gone before Oliver even got here. So it was just me and him from day one. And yeah, I'm not going to pretend single motherhood is easy. It's not. But Oliver, that kid made everything make sense. He's funny in this quiet, unexpected way. Curious about everything. The kind of kid who asks why the sky is blue and actually waits for the answer. He listens. He notices things. He feels things. He's my whole world. And that's where things started to shift. Not all at once, just small things at first. My parents were never warm with him. Not openly cruel. Not in a way you could easily point to. But there was something off. A constant edge. He'd be playing in their living room, just laughing, and my mom would snap at him to be quieter. Too loud. Too much. My dad once made him sit in the corner for 20 minutes because he knocked over a glass of water. A glass of water. He was 5. That's what 5-year-olds do. I brought it up more than once. Mom, he's just a kid. He didn't mean to. And she'd give me that same line every time. Calm, confident, final. Priscilla, we raised you and you turned out fine. So clearly we know what we're doing. Did I? Did I turn out fine? Because I'm in therapy twice a month, but sure. Let's go with fine. Still, I let it slide. Again and again. Because pushing back always felt like it came with a cost, and I didn't want to be the difficult daughter. You know that feeling? Where you swallow what you actually want to say, and smile instead. Because keeping the peace feels easier than telling the truth. Yeah, that. And then came the trip. Every year I plan a family vacation. I pick the place, I book the rooms, I pay for everything. Last year, Myrtle Beach, before that, a cabin in Gatlinburg. This year, a beautiful resort in Destin, Florida. 3 rooms, one for my parents, one for Keith if he decided to come, and one for me and Oliver. Total cost? Just over $4,000. My money, my card. 2 weeks before the trip, we had a picnic at my parents' house. Nothing special. Burgers, potato salad. My mom's weird Jell-O thing nobody actually likes, but everyone pretends to. Oliver was running around the yard completely happy, just being a kid. And then he ran up to my mom. Big smile, bright eyes. Grandma, I packed my bag for the trip. I put my swim trunks in and everything. And my mother, I can still see it. She looked down at him. That same thin, controlled smile. And she said, "Oh, you're not coming, honey." And Oliver's face, it didn't drop right away. It just stalled, like his brain was trying to catch up. And then he looked at me, not crying, not speaking, just asking. Mom, is that true? I looked at my mother. The line had already been crossed. They just kept talking like it hadn't. I shifted my attention to my dad. He was planted in that lawn chair, eyes locked on his burger like it suddenly demanded his full attention. Like staying quiet might make this disappear. What do you mean he's not going? I asked. My mom answered immediately. No pause, no reconsidering. He's too young for a trip like this, she said, smooth and certain. He'll be loud running around. It won't be relaxing. And last time he spilled juice on the hotel comforter, I had to deal with that. She said it like she was presenting evidence, like that one moment justified everything. It's just better if he stays home with a sitter. A sitter. For a vacation I paid for. At a resort I chose because it had a kids' pool. A whole activity center designed for children. Things I picked intentionally so Oliver would actually enjoy it. I turned back to my dad. You're seriously okay with this? He shrugged, barely lifting his eyes. Your mom's right. He needs to learn that not everything revolves around him. I stared at him. He's 7. Exactly, he said. Better he learns early. Learns what? That he's extra? That he doesn't belong? For a second, I honestly felt like I was the only one hearing how off this was. So, I made a choice. And I've replayed that moment more times than I can count. I didn't argue, didn't raise my voice, didn't give them anything they could twist. I just took a breath, looked down at Oliver, his chin already starting to tremble, and said, Hey, go grab your bag. We're heading out. He hesitated, confused. But he listened. And the second he stepped inside, I faced them again. My voice stayed even. If my son isn't included, then nobody goes. My mom let out this short laugh. Dismissive, like I just said something ridiculous. Priscilla, don't start with this. I'm not starting anything, I said. I paid for the trip. Oliver comes or I cancel it. Now my dad looked at me. You're not actually going to do that. I didn't look away. Try me. And that was it. No more discussion. I turned and left. Oliver got in the car beside me, quiet the entire drive home. Not a single word. That silence, it sat there, heavy. Like something inside him had shifted and he didn't know how to say it. When we walked inside, he finally looked up at me. Mom, did I do something wrong? That question, it hit harder than anything they said. I dropped down in front of him, held his face steady so he couldn't look away. No, I said. Firm, certain. You didn't do anything wrong. You are the best thing in my life, you hear me? Don't ever think otherwise. He didn't argue. He just wrapped his arms around me. Tight. And standing there in that hallway, feeling him hold on like that, I made up my mind. Something was going to change. Not eventually. Not after another conversation. Now. And it was going to start with that trip. So what do you think happened next? Because my parents? They didn't believe me, not even a little. They thought I'd cool off. That I'd call back, smooth things over, fall back into the role I'd always played. But here's the thing. I don't make threats I won't follow through on. And what happened 2 days later, when that resort sent out that email, that's where everything turned. I'll tell you exactly what I did. But first, you need to understand what they tried in those 2 days after the picnic. Because they didn't just wait around, they moved fast. They had a plan. And I'll be honest, it almost worked. The next morning, less than 12 hours later, my phone rang. Aunt Dolores, my mom's older sister. Same mindset, just louder delivery. Priscilla, honey, she said, already sounding like she'd been briefed. Your mother is beside herself. Of course she is. She told me you're threatening to cancel the entire vacation over a small misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. That's how it got framed. Not the part where they excluded a 7-year-old to his face. Not the part where he questioned himself because of it. That didn't make the cut. Aunt Dolores, I said, keeping my tone steady, did she tell you what actually happened? She didn't even hesitate. I heard enough, and frankly, I think you're overreacting. Kids don't need to be included in everything. When we were younger, we stayed home and were grateful. Different time, same excuse. I understand what you're saying, I replied, even though I didn't. But this isn't your decision. I kept it short. I appreciate you calling, I added, but I'll handle it. And I ended the call. Because those calls, they never come with the full story. Just a version designed to make you look unreasonable. And it didn't stop there. A couple hours later, my dad called, not to fix it, to reframe it. Your mother didn't mean it the way it sounded, he said. She just thinks he'd be more comfortable staying home. Those resorts are more for adults. I let that sit for a second. Then I said, there's a giant octopus water slide there. Who do you think that's for? Silence. Then he pivoted. You're turning this into something bigger than it is. Just let your mother have this one. That line. Like it was small, like it didn't matter. I've let her have enough, I said. I'm not letting it come at my kid's expense. And just like that, he ended the call. That's how he does it, when he doesn't get his way. And then Keith called. My brother. The one who left years ago, and for once I understood exactly why. The silence after that call didn't settle anything. It just cleared space for something bigger to break. Keith and I have always been close. He's 4 years older, but growing up he felt more like an ally than a sibling. He was the one who'd sneak me snacks when Mom sent me to bed without dinner, for getting a B+. A B+. That was enough to lose a meal in Gloria and Richard's house. So that night, after everything, I called him. I told him the whole story. The picnic, what Mom said, what Oliver asked me in the hallway. There was a pause on his end. Then he said, simple and direct, cancel it. I didn't answer right away. Cancel the whole thing, he repeated. They won't learn if you keep folding. They're going to lose it, I said. Good, he said. No hesitation. Let them. That landed. You've been carrying them for years, he went on. Mortgage, bills, everything. What have they actually done for you? For Oliver? I didn't have an answer. And that was the answer. When was the last time they did something kind for Oliver? No conditions, no correction afterward? When was the last time they even said thank you? For anything? Mortgage, insurance, groceries, all of it. I'll save you the thinking time. Never. So that night, after I put Oliver to bed, I sat at my kitchen table. The house was quiet in that heavy way, like something was waiting. I opened my laptop, pulled up the resort booking. 3 rooms, just over $4,000. My card on file. I hovered for a second. Not because I wasn't sure, but because I knew exactly what this meant. Then I canceled it. All of it. Every room. Every reservation. Refund back to my card, done. But I didn't stop there. Because here's the part they didn't think about. My parents had gotten so used to me paying for everything, they stopped checking details. They didn't confirm anything, didn't ask questions, they just assumed it was handled. They didn't even realize the reservation depended entirely on me. That if I pulled out, there was nothing left. They found out 2 days later. I was at work when my phone started vibrating against my desk. Not ringing, buzzing. Constant. Aggressive. First text from my mom. Priscilla, did you get an email from the resort? Then another. It says the card on file was declined. Then calls, back to back. Voicemail after voicemail, then my dad. Then more voicemails. I didn't pick up, not one. I just sat there, coffee in hand, watching my phone drag itself across the desk with every vibration like it had somewhere urgent to be. And I'll be honest with you, I felt calm. Not numb, not angry, just clear. For the first time in a long time. Around lunch, I finally checked the voicemails. The first one, my mom sounded confused. Priscilla, there seems to be some issue with the reservation. Call me. The second, sharper. I don't understand what's happening. They're saying it was canceled. Call me back. The third one, that's when it hit her. Did you cancel our vacation? Priscilla, you need to call me right now. Full name. That tone. You know the one. My dad's message was shorter. Call your mother. That's it. No questions, no context, just instruction. Very on brand for Richard. I waited until evening, put Oliver to bed first, made myself a cup of tea. Sat down on the couch, then I called. She picked up immediately, no greeting. Did you cancel the trip? Yes. Silence, not long, just long enough. Why would you do that? And I said exactly what I'd already told her. Because you told my son he wasn't welcome. A beat. I told you, Oliver goes or nobody goes. I don't bluff, Mom. That's when it shifted. She exploded, talking over herself, raising her voice, pulling out every line I've heard my whole life. Ungrateful. After everything we did for you, we sacrificed for you. You're letting a child control your decisions. You're being petty, spiteful, on and on. Same message, different wording. I let her finish, didn't interrupt, and when she ran out of steam, I said the thing I'd been holding back for years. Mom, I love you, but I'm not going to let you treat my son the way you treated me. Silence. I spent my entire childhood trying to be good enough for you and Dad, I continued. And I never was. My voice stayed steady. Oliver is not growing up like that. Another pause. Longer this time. Then she said, quieter but sharper, so what? You're punishing us now? I'm not punishing you, I said. I'm making a decision. I didn't rush it. If you want to be part of our lives, you treat us with respect. Starting now. Click. She hung up. And yeah, that hurt. Even when you know you're right, that sound still lands, but that's when everything really started to unravel. Because the trip, that wasn't the only thing tied to me. Mortgage, car insurance, groceries, phone plan, all of it. Still running through my accounts, and sitting there on that couch, staring at my phone, One question kept circling back. Why? Why am I funding people who don't even make space for my child? Why am I covering their lives when they won't even protect his feelings? That thought didn't go away. It stayed. Keith called later that night. Didn't even say hello first. You canceled it, didn't you? Yeah. He laughed, quiet, not mocking, just approving. Then he said something that stuck. Priscilla, you've been their retirement plan since you were 26. A pause. That's not love? The shift didn't stop there. It spread into everything I'd been quietly holding together for years. That's not love, Keith had said. That's a subscription. And the worst part? They'd never paid for it. That hit me straight in the chest. Because he wasn't wrong, I'd been funding their entire life, while they made my son feel like he didn't even belong in it. So over the next few days, I made changes. Not loud ones, not dramatic, just final. I called the mortgage company and removed myself from the extra payments. Canceled the autopay on their car insurance. Shut down the grocery deliveries. Let their phone plan run out at the end of the cycle. One by one. Clean. I didn't do it out of anger. I didn't do it to punish them. I did it because I finally saw it clearly. I had been pouring everything into people who couldn't even offer basic kindness to a little boy who just wanted to swim with his grandparents. That was it. That was the line. Now tell me, do you think they reflected? Do you think they sat down and thought, maybe we pushed too far? No. Not even close. Because when people lose something they've gotten used to, they don't get humble first. They get angry. And my parents, they got furious. And then they showed up at my house. What happened at my front door that night? I still replay it sometimes because I wasn't ready for what my mother said, not even a little. She didn't come to talk. She came with a plan. And somehow, that plan involved Oliver. It was Thursday night. Oliver was in his pajamas, sitting on the couch watching cartoons. I was in the kitchen cleaning up dinner when the doorbell rang, then knocking, then her voice. Priscilla, open this door. I froze for half a second. Then I opened it. There they were, Gloria and Richard. Standing on my porch like this was some kind of intervention. My dad had a folder in his hands. A folder. To this day, I don't know what he thought that was going to do, but Richard has always believed that if you look organized, you automatically look right. I opened the door. It's 8 o'clock, I said. Oliver has school. My mom didn't respond. She just walked right past me. That same walk, like every space already belonged to her. My dad followed. They sat down in my living room without asking, like nothing had changed. Oliver looked up from the couch. Hi, Grandma. Hi, Grandpa. Sweet. Polite, like always. More grace in that kid than both of them combined. I swallowed and said, Oliver, go to your room for a bit, okay? He didn't argue. Kids don't need explanations to feel tension. He just went. And the second his door closed, my mom started. What you're doing is manipulation, Priscilla. No build-up. No soft entry. You're using money to control us. I almost laughed. The irony of that coming from a woman who used approval like currency my entire childhood. It was almost too perfect. I'm not controlling anyone, I said. I'm deciding where my money goes. My dad leaned forward then, opened the folder. Inside, printouts. Every expense I'd been covering. Mortgage, insurance, groceries, phone bills. All of it itemized. He slid it across the coffee table toward me. You owe us stability. I didn't touch the paper. You owe us stability, he repeated. Not thank you, not we appreciate it. You owe us. A grown man telling his adult daughter she owes him financial support. That's when it fully clicked. Everything. Dad, I said steady. I don't owe you anything. I helped because I wanted to. But the way you and Mom treat Oliver... I shook my head. I'm not going to keep giving to people who push my son aside. And that's when my mother said it. The thing I wasn't ready for. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "If you keep this up, we'll file for visitation rights. We'll go through a lawyer. We have that right as grandparents." My hands started shaking. I won't lie about that. Even knowing they probably didn't have a real case, hearing that from my own mother, it hit. Fear doesn't always paralyze you. Sometimes, it burns everything unnecessary away, and all that's left is clarity. I stood up. "Get out!" My mom blinked. "Excuse me?" "You came into my house," I said, "on a school night, and threatened me with a lawyer over my own son. The same son you told wasn't welcome on vacation." My voice didn't rise. It didn't need to. "Get out!" My dad shifted, uncomfortable. "Priscilla, your mother didn't mean—" "She said exactly what she meant," I cut in. "Leave." And that was it. They stood up. No apology, no backtracking. My mom didn't say another word. They walked out. The folder stayed on my table. I didn't even look at it again. I picked it up and dropped it straight into the recycling. After they left, I sat down on the couch, and I cried. Not because I regretted anything, but because loving people like that is exhausting, because it always feels like love comes with conditions. Some of you know that feeling. Oliver came padding down the hallway in his dinosaur socks. Quiet. He sat next to me, put his hand on my arm. "Mommy, are you sad?" I wiped my face. "A little," I said, "but I'm okay." He nodded, thinking. Then he said, "Do you want my dinosaur? He helps when I'm sad." That kid. "Yeah," I said softly. "I do." He ran off, came back with his stuffed T-Rex and handed it to me like it was the most important thing in the world. We sat there together, quiet, and I thought, this is what matters. Not their approval, not their expectations. Him, the life I built. The next morning I called a family attorney. Not to start anything, just to understand. She listened, asked a few questions, and then said, "Grandparent visitation cases are extremely difficult to win when the parent is present, stable, and actively involved." The silence didn't last forever, but when it broke, it didn't sound the way I expected. "They don't have a leg to stand on." That's what the attorney told me. Clear, confident, no hesitation, and just like that, I could breathe again. I called Keith right after. He didn't even try to hide it. He was furious. "They threatened you with a lawyer over the same kid they didn't even want on the trip?" I didn't answer. I didn't need to. "I can be on a flight tonight," he said. "Just say the word." I told him not yet, but just knowing he would, that stayed with me. Then, nothing. 3 full weeks, no calls, no texts, no Aunt Dolores checking in with her opinions. Just quiet. And I didn't realize how loud everything had been until it stopped. Those 3 weeks, they were the most peaceful I'd had in years. Oliver and I went to the park, to the aquarium. We made star-shaped pancakes on a random Tuesday morning just because we could. No tension, no second guessing. Just us. We were okay. Better than okay. Then, one Sunday morning, my phone rang. My dad. I almost didn't pick up, but something in me said, "Answer." So I did. And the first thing I heard was him crying. "Priscilla, I need to talk to you." Not sharp, not controlled, just tired. "Not to argue," he added. "Just to talk." I stayed quiet. Let him speak. They were behind on the mortgage. The car insurance had lapsed. They'd been cutting corners, skipping meals. And then he said it, voice breaking in a way I'd never heard before. "I didn't realize how much you were caring for us until it was gone." I closed my eyes because part of me wanted to say it. I told you so. I wanted to, but I didn't. I just listened. Then he said something else. "Your mother went too far." A pause. I knew it when she said it. I should have stopped her. Another pause. I'm sorry about Oliver. He's a good kid." My throat tightened. "I think we were so focused on being in control," he said quietly, that we forgot how to just be his grandparents. I was standing in my kitchen crying silently while Oliver sat at the table eating Cheerios like it was any normal morning. He had no idea his grandfather was finally saying the things I'd needed to hear for years. "Dad," I said, steadying myself, "I need to hear it from Mom, too." I didn't soften it. And I need to see it, not just hear it. I glanced at Oliver, because he deserves grandparents who are happy when he walks into a room. He didn't argue. "Give me a little time," he said. 2 days later, my doorbell rang. I opened it, and there she was. Alone, no folder, no backup. Just my mom. Reading glasses, cardigan. And for the first time in my life, she looked smaller. We sat at the kitchen table, and then something happened that I honestly didn't think I'd ever see. My mother apologized. Not the usual version. Not, "I'm sorry you feel that way." Not, "I'm sorry, but..." No. She looked at me and said, "I was wrong." Simple, direct. "I was wrong about the trip, about the lawyer. That was cruel." She paused. "And about Oliver." That one landed. "I was hard on him because I was hard on you and Keith," she said. "I thought that's what parenting was supposed to look like." Her voice shifted. "But he's 7. He should be loud. He should spill things. He should pack his little bag for trips." Something in my chest cracked open, because when someone finally sees you, really sees you, after years of not being seen, it changes something. She reached across the table, took my hand. "I don't want to lose you," she said. "Or him." A beat. "Tell me what to do." I didn't rush it. "Treat Oliver like a gift," I said. "Not a problem." She nodded. "Stop snapping at him for being a kid." Another nod. "And respect that I'm his mom." "I can do that," she said. Then, quieter. "Can I see him?" I called him in from the backyard. He came running in, grass stains on his knees, stopped when he saw her. And my mom, Gloria, the same woman who once sent me to bed without dinner over a B+, got down on her knees on my kitchen floor, opened her arms. "Come here, baby," she said softly. "Grandma's sorry." He didn't hesitate, not even for a second. He ran straight into her arms, because that's who Oliver is. Things didn't magically fix overnight. There were awkward dinners, moments where my mom caught herself mid-sentence, mid-tone, and had to stop, reset, try again. But she was trying. My dad built Oliver a little wooden step stool, painted green, his favorite color, so he could help in the kitchen. My mom signed up for a grandparenting class at church. I didn't even know that was a thing, but she found it. I started helping again, carefully. Car insurance, groceries. But the mortgage? That stayed theirs. I helped them find a financial counselor. My dad complained the whole way there, but he went. And the trip? I rebooked it. Same resort. Destin, Florida. And the first morning on the beach, I watched my mom take Oliver's hand and walk him down to the water. He was laughing, screaming, splashing everywhere. My dad followed behind them, carrying a bucket and shovel like it was the most important job in the world. Keith flew in for that one. Stood next to me, put his arm around my shoulder. "You did that," he said. And for the first time, I didn't argue. Because I did. Not by blowing everything up. Not by walking away forever, but by finally drawing a line and not stepping back from it. Even when it was hard. Even when it hurt. Oliver's 9 now, 3rd grade. He still packs his own bag for every trip. Still brings those goldfish crackers, and every time my mom pretends to steal one, he laughs so hard his whole face turns red. That laugh? That's what all of this was for. That's it. That's my story.